Bitcoin has seen an explosive rally from 16K up to 24. But once we got there, we were met with some trouble, and price has started to reverse and is starting to pick up some steam, and everyone is starting to get nervous. Is this going to continue? In today's video, I'm going to explain, based on the facts and the charts, what you should expect going forward. If you're new here, welcome in. My name is Steve, and on this channel, we're different. We go against the grade, we stand out from the herd. When everyone goes left, we go right, and we base it on the facts in the charts. So hit that subscribe button, you're gonna love it here. In today's video, we're gonna cover 3 of the most important charts happening at this moment. Because if you remember, back when we were at 16K, we had this pressure cooker forming. We had our stochastic RSI weekly cross. And we said right here on this channel, don't be surprised if Bitcoin rallies up to this red line. And since then, we rallied up to this red line. But as we got closer to that red line on this channel, we said, look, the candles are getting smaller as we come to one of our most exclusive resistance areas. Don't be surprised if price reverses. And so far, that's what we've seen. And we're going to discuss what we are seeing next happening in the charts here in today's video. I do want to say, next week is my son's birthday. He's turning 4 years old. I cannot wait. It's going to be so incredible. So my son is a humongous part of my life. Later in the video, I want to talk about some of the biggest lessons I learned as a father. And also next week, to celebrate my son's birthday, we're going to be doing something really huge for you and for people in need. Single moms, single dads, vets, people that are in a tough financial situation. More to come on that in some future videos, but let's jump straight into this chart. Again, we're on the weekly chart and we're really looking at this red line. We'll start with some price action first, and this red line is the most important one. As you can see here, the red line is the 200 week MA, right? So if you go back in history, every single bear market played a significant role with this 200 MA. You could see in 2018, that was our market bottom, holding beautiful support. Even the COVID crash, beautiful support. And even if you roll back all the way to 2015, beautiful support at this red line. So it's no surprise that what used to be our support is now our resistance. We've expected it. And the candles were really telling us a story. We said right here on this channel, look, the candle was pretty big, getting smaller and getting even smaller as we were approaching resistance right over our head. It's pretty obvious what was coming next. At the same time, we have this weekly stochastic RSI cross down. Now it hasn't confirmed yet, but we do have a cross right in front of us. What do we mean by confirm? It's got to confirm below here, below the 80 level, right? Just like on the way up, we have to confirm or cross up above the 20. So we have to stay level-headed. We can't get too emotional on the way up. We can't get too depressed on the way down, but we've got to focus on the facts, and we have to understand what the facts are saying. And this chart is saying, look, we were met with heavy resistance and we're starting to see a reversal. And then the main question becomes, well, how bad could this get? How much lower can we go? Are we going to break our market structure? What should you expect going forward? First and foremost, this weekly stochastic RSI cross, keep a close eye on that. If you look at the other ones, once we had this weekly stochastic RSI cross, price was up here at 48K, and that's when our mega crash started to happen, right? The prior one, weekly stochastic RSI cross, we were at our all-time high, and then we started to crash down. These are nothing to play with, right? Just like the stochastic RSI cross on the bottom happens about every 6 months, right? We have a cross up, which is momentum coming into the market. Every 6 months, this happens. We covered it right here on our channel because we were in this pressure cooker situation, as you remember, a 2-year pressure cooker situation. And at the same time, we had this bullish divergence. And at the same time, we had a weekly stochastic RSI cross up. And that's when we said, look, don't be surprised if we rally up to this red line. So once we rallied up there, we couldn't be surprised. Once we got up there, we said, don't be surprised at a reversal in price. I mean, this is heavy resistance. In order to understand what's going to happen next, we've got to look at a smaller time frame. And that brings our story here to the daily chart. Keep in mind, we were just on the weekly chart. We broke down a bunch of things. Now we're on the daily chart, and we're going to break down what's that smaller picture look like. And as we were approaching, we said, look, we did have bullish divergence forming over 6 months. That's what really broke this thing wide open. However, we did have some bearish divergence forming on the daily over the span of a few weeks. Now, what does that mean? That means we made our high here, another higher high, another higher high, and another higher high, while our indicators were doing the opposite. They made a high and a lower high and a lower high and a lower high. That's bearish divergence, right? And we said, look, it's only a matter of time before this thing breaks. So we're starting to see some of that action play out, right? Even on our ADX and DI, down here on the daily, we had the green on top is bullish, red on top is bearish. When red is on top, prices go down. When green is on top, prices go up. It's really that simple, right? And we're about to have a bearish cross here. Keep that in mind as we move forward. Now, as we go over here to our weekly chart, this is something that could play out. We need to take a look at it. It's a fractal pattern that's pretty explosive. The action of 2015 during that entire bear market is very similar to what we're seeing play out in 2020 into 2023. However, there is some good news. Now, in 2015, right, prices were exploding. Once we came down to this beautiful red line, we had this cross when the yellow line crosses the red. Once we finished that cross, there were 3 distinct points of rejection from this yellow line, right? Point number 1, point number 2, point number 3. Once we had our cross and our 3 rejections, that's when, in 2015, price exploded in Bitcoin, going above this yellow line for the first time in over a year, but not just peeking its head over this yellow line. I mean exploding in price over this yellow line. This is exactly how this fractal pattern played out. We had the yellow line cross the red, and we had once, twice, 3 rejections from this yellow line. We hadn't been above this yellow line in over a year, and we didn't just peek our head above this yellow line. We exploded above this yellow line. So now we're met with heavy resistance above our head, which we just showed. We have some bearish divergence forming out on the daily, which we just showed. And we're starting to see a price reaction according to plan, right? But the question is, could it get as worse as it did in 2015? In 2015, we exploded above here and we actually came crashing down to retest our base. We retested our base in 2015. Is that happening next? Could it happen next? What's going to happen next? That's what I want to cover now. So we explained earlier in the video about this bullish divergence breaking, resistance met, price reaction, our stochastic RSI cross down, losing momentum. We talked about on the daily chart, this bearish divergence playing out right in front of our eyes. But could it get as worse as this? Here's what I'll say. Bitcoin, and again, we are Mr. Consistency when it comes for Bitcoin. It's not very often we change our tune. Usually every 6 to 8 months, we'll change the tune of the videos. You remember we were calling the mega crash at 48K. And then since price action started to get down around here, we said, hey, look, the facts in the charts are that the bottom could very well be in. And both the top of the chart and the bottom of the chart are dictating that the market bottom is already in. And we were really early in on that. And we started to form this bullish divergence. So have we changed our tune? No. Bitcoin is still showing significant signals that we've turned a major corner in this bear market. Now, is the bull market started yet? Not officially, according to the facts and the charts, but we've turned a major corner, and there's no denying that, right? Well, there is denying that. The high majority of people still deny it, but the facts are the facts. Men lie, women lie, the charts don't lie. Now, worst case scenario, Bitcoin can come back and test its bottom. That would freak the hell out of everyone. It would shake out a tremendous amount of weak hands, and then everyone will be looking for 2K Bitcoin and 1K Bitcoin and 3K, which would never, it won't come. The worst case scenario, according to the facts that I study, are that Bitcoin could retest its base, retest its bottom, you know, this 15K-ish area. I believe that we have double bottomed already, but we can come back and test it according to this. That's the worst case. However, there's no denying that Bitcoin has changed its tune. There's no denying that this bullish divergence is remarkably strong, built over 6 months, just like we formed bearish divergence at our double top. This was our double top. Our first top was back here in April, and then the second top, as you know, near November. The second top went higher, and people are like, oh my God, how is a higher top a double top? This is a technical double top, right? Just like this bottom, right? This bottom formed. We formed a double bottom so far, bullish divergence breaking. So in the short term, we could be met with some turmoil. Here are some levels that I want you to watch. As you zoom in here, you can see a couple levels. Number one is this level right here at about 20.8, 20.6K. It's the bodies of these candles and the bodies of these candles and some of the bases of these candles. Watch that level. Watch how we play with that level. Watch the wicks of these closing candles. And then the second one would be this yellow line, right? How are we going to play with this yellow line that's at about 19.2 and rising every day? Those are the levels to really watch. But worst case scenario, if we plummet through, I guarantee you're saying to yourself right now, oh, if we plummet through, I'm going to buy. It's going to be incredibly hard to buy because there's going to be so much turmoil. There's going to be so much emotion involved in the crypto space. There's going to be, everyone is chanting that we're going to go to 2K, 3K. If this was an easy game, everyone that you know would be millionaires. Trading is difficult. And the number one reason why is humans have emotion with money, and humans have a very difficult time controlling their emotions with money. So they end up making emotional trades, which leads to a lot of failure. And that's the reason 90% of traders fail, right? So that's the worst case. I do believe Bitcoin has still turned a corner, but I'm curious to see your opinions in the comments below. Now I'm going to get to my lessons as a father. I don't know if you are a father or you are a mother or you're thinking of one day becoming a father or mother, but I wanted to share with you, as I mentioned earlier in the video, my son's 4th birthday is next week. A lot of you had started watching before he was even born, and it's just a remarkable story. I wanted to share what are my biggest lessons. I'm going to share 3 of them, and one of them is quite surprising. I didn't expect it. I did expect the first one, which is just, it's remarkably fulfilling. It's remarkably fulfilling. There's so much joy I have spending time with my son. It's incredible. I can sit and talk to my son for an hour about money, the intricacies of money, and he's asking highly intelligent questions back at me. He's 3. It's incredible. So there's that. I love just going on adventures with him with no destination. Like, for example, right now, we're in the center of Hong Kong. There's all sorts of chaos around us. I just like to go outside, and our biggest decision we're making is like, hey, should we go right or left? And just like being in the moment, right? So in sports, I love sports. I'm a sports guy. So him and I just bouncing around, playing sports, listening to music. I love it. The second thing, as a parent, it was surprising. Nobody warned me about this, and I just cannot get over why aren't people talking about this? So for me, the self-awareness, right? And the self-discovery is at an all-time high. For me, I'm always trying to improve as a human every single day. I'm a little bit obsessed with it, just like a continuous learner. But when I had a child, what I learned about myself was like 100x of what I've learned prior to having a child, because he's a reflection of me. So I'm picking up on all of these little intricacies that I did on a daily basis that maybe weren't good, but I didn't realize it. And nobody pointed it out to me my entire life until I had a child, and I can see it in him. And then I'm self-aware enough to be like, do I do that? Then I started studying myself, and I do that. So in order for him to change, I have to change. Which is, it was such an epiphany. Nobody's ever told me that. No parent has ever warned me about that or said that they also really had that experience as well. I'm very curious to see if you have, but this is the biggest thing. For me, that was the biggest surprise. And the third thing is, like, I love to teach. I think I'm born to help other people with my style of teaching and the knowledge that I've acquired through all the mistakes that I've made, right? I only have this knowledge because I've made more mistakes than most people. That's basically the bottom line, right? I'm not afraid to fail. I'm a risk taker. I've been a risk taker since I was a little kid. So because, I got into trading at 16, I made all sorts of mistakes. The only reason I know about the charts now is because I was a complete idiot for year after year, and I had to learn some really hard lessons. So for me, teaching my son is just, I love it more than anything. I just love to teach. I love to help. And the communication with my son is on another level. Like I said, I can sit and talk to him about money, something that kids, they don't know anything about money usually, and they definitely don't want to talk about it. He's very keen to talk about it. He'll always come up to me, hey, Dada, what's happening with the Bitcoin charts? How are the charts going? Can you show me some charts? And I just love it. I love it beyond belief. So I wanted to share those words with you. Let me know if you are a mom or a dad. And in the comments below, I'm very curious to hear your story, especially with the second thing I shared. Do you also feel that this was a huge lesson for me? Peace and love to the fellow underdogs. I'll see you right back here in the next video. Welcome in to the Game Changing Indicator Bundle.
I've made money back.
Now I have a structured plan. I learned something that I didn't know was possible to do.
I'm actually up 32,000.